Let's go. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't make it then. In their heads, living free. I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes Benz. Whoa, yeah. Please don't take offense. It isn't.
Welcome back, everybody. Season 2, Episode 2, Cock Rise of the Show. I'm Jamie Jones.
I'm Monique Jones, the best partner in the world.
Oh, I'm so see you want to add to the intro now that we get into season 2. Okay, the best partner. Is that going to stay? So I know not to say anything and over talk your humble intro. Is that what it
Yes.
is? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know this, that it snowed in Florida
Oh, I didn't know that
this
either.
week. That's rare.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in
How
Florida
many
for a
inches
long
did they
time.
get?
I don't well, come on now. Don't get happy. They they got 1 to 3 in some places. Wow.
Okay.
That's
Hopefully they had their shovels.
No, that will shut down Florida for almost a week. One
A
inch,
week?
let alone 1 inch would shut down most places in Florida for a week. 3, I'm surprised. It
A
snowed.
week is
I
crazy.
figured it was Tallahassee and the northern part, but wow. In 2025, though, Pensacola got 2 days of snow, 8.9 inches. That was a 2-day record. But I don't know what they're doing down there. They're probably crazy because yeah, it's been a while. But they got snow. That's rare.
And
In
we got a lot
Florida,
of
they
snow
get
too,
snow.
when we weren't supposed to get a
We're
little bit.
in the greater Boston area, and that's a little bit different. We expect snow. Snow doesn't mean anything. You got to give us about a good foot before we say, "Oh, okay, that's something." That's something. So, you know, unfortunately, I'll talk about him every time we have a podcast because he just gives you content to talk about. So this a fixation with Greenland. I
Yeah.
thought it was just something, but now it seems like it's more and more serious. And I still say the same thing, that all this just takes focus off of Epstein and the Epstein file. Finally, somebody said something about the Epstein files this past week, but it takes the focus off. But of course, 2 things happened, in the last week, the unfortunate death of the young lady up in Minneapolis. Many different perspectives. I have many
Yes.
different perspectives on that. And then Greenland, of course, made different. Maybe we should get in.
Almost fell. I'm sorry. Almost fell.
I'm leaving that in because that just shows everybody what I have to deal with on a podcast basis. Anyway, how do you almost fall off of a stationary chair? I don't know.
The
But we'll
hard
move
plastic
on.
I can't.
We'll move on.
God,
These are the
you
things
can
that
keep going.
happen. These are the things that happen. So, uh, it is extremely unfortunate, and I think what the young lady's name, her last name is Good, if I'm not mistaken. And i- it's such a dicey subject because, yes, I don't believe ICE should be in cities doing what they're doing. At the same time, once they're there, they are law officers, albeit federal. Um, and you need to obey, regardless of where you think about it or not. I could just say it from a person of color's perspective. One, I would not have been blocking the street in a car with people with assault rifles that they could point at me. Number 2, I've always been taught, regardless of if you think you're wrong or right, you obey and get home safely. Then, if you want
Right.
to complain, you walk your ass up to the police station or whatever station is, and then you make your complaint. Just make sure you're not in handcuffs or in jail. 3, do not try to get away because that gives them a license to come after you, and it's not going to be good in any situation.
So how old was
The
this lady? Do you
but
know?
the last thing is, and then don't make any moves that may seem like they're aggressive, regardless of what people think she was doing. Don't make moves that seem like they're aggressive, because then that just gives them a right, not. And people say, "Oh, she was trying to get away." How does he know what she was trying? All he knows, he got hit,
Yeah.
right?
She hit him with the car, right?
Right, Renee
Mhm.
Good. I don't know. She was 37 years old.
Hmm.
Old enough to know. Old enough to know. Now I get it. Now people of non-color aren't taught the same things that people of color are when they grow up by their parents if they're lucky enough. That they need to act certain ways and do certain things so they can get home safely. Um, and maybe that's part of it. And not that any of us should have to be taught that, but when you are taught that, it is America, it is real life. Once the situation changes, and this is what I do agree with, once the situation changes and you are in a active police or law official scene, you need to act accordingly. And her partner wasn't, and they were asking her to do things regardless if you feel about how they talked about her or cursed at her and all those things. Those are tense situations. But why would you
Mhm.
want to add to that intensity, unless you thought they're not gonna do anything to you? And I don't know why you would think they're not gonna do anything to you when they're carrying guns.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you from a white person's perspective, she never thought that she was going to be a victim of what happened. She thought she was entitled. And I'm gonna tell you, I am someone in my past that I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't have to listen to you. I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm not even saying to the police, but I definitely would give some pushback because that was just I give pushback to everyone. I would have done the same. Now that I'm older, I would have been very, very more I would have been more cautious about how I behaved. But being younger, even though she's a little older, but I think if you're not in if you don't really if you've never experienced what actually happens to people when they give pushback, you might see it on the news, you might see things where you're saying, "Oh, okay, I read about it," but to actually witness it, then it gives you a little bit of more perspective on how the cops could what really could happen. I
Now, in America, you're allowed to protest. This country was built on protest
Mhm.
and peaceful protesting and sometimes violent protesting, unfortunately. But you can't put yourself in a position where they don't know which one you are. And even and we can go through our history. Even when there is nonviolent protesting, we see what people have done. Now, somebody made an interesting point because somebody was saying, "Well, look, it's the law. You have to listen to officers." And somebody's like, "Well, yeah, Jim Crow was law. That didn't make it right. So all laws aren't right." And I'm like, "You are correct.
Mhm.
That is very true. But you can't make that decision in the moment." So it was wrong what happened. No doubt it was wrong what happened. Nobody should have been killed.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there were so many different ways to de-escalate that situation. And I
Mhm.
gotta say that there's been many things ICE officers have done and we've seen. I think in this situation, when they're asking you to move, then you won't move. Then they're saying, all right, well, get out the car because you won't move. Then you decide to move after your friend jumps in the car. Who knows what the friend's jumping in the car for? They had people follow them around with phones, so it wasn't like they didn't know they were being recorded. So, and
Right.
even though they don't have body cams, which is another point of contention. They should have body cams, but they're federal. They don't have to.
Right.
But you see it all play out, and before you could see all the angles, everybody was about to jump on the officer, but then when you see the angle where he gets hit, and he had internal bleeding, whether he was bruised, because that's considered to be internal bleeding too, doesn't matter. He was hit
Right.
by the car. Once that
Mhm.
happens, he's reacting. No, I don't know what his training was, but most people, if they had a gun in their hand and somebody came at them with a car and hit them, you probably would fire back, but you probably and everybody's like, "Well, she didn't mean to hit him." Well, she should have not even moved because then you
Yeah.
gave them a reason to think that. And I say that, and I'm like, people forget even more trained officers in
Yes.
situations have made similar mistakes or have made similar actions, even when somebody wasn't. Like they were reaching for their wallet, boom, boom, boom. Or, you're sitting in the car with your boyfriend gets shot because the guy gets nervous. And these people are trained. And they
Yes.
didn't attack them. So, not that they're apples to apples. These are definitely apples to oranges, but you can't give these people who you already think are menacing
Mhm.
with a badge. So they're menacing with a badge and you're still being combative. th
Right.
that wasn't the best option to take from either of them, 'cause neither of them tried to de-escalate. Their actions showed that they were trying to not follow and escalate. Again, she
I agree.
there's no place in this world where this should have happened. It could have been de-escalated in many different ways. Do I think ICE should have been in Minneapolis? No. Do I think that they should send federal troops in? No. Do I think they should have been in Chicago and DC and tried to go to California? No. But once they're there,
Yeah.
just like anything else, right? Just like if the police came to my house right now, banging on my door, and they say, "Open the door," and I don't, I'm at risk. Now, I could say no, and they could bang down the door, and then they
Mhm.
could come in, or I could have just opened the door, saved my door, and then said, "All right, what are we here for? Do we have warrants?" And like, if we're gonna go, I'm going alive and I'm going peaceful because I can live to fight another day. But that's a
Mm.
different mindset.
Yeah, it is.
And and that's happened to me. So I can
Mhm.
speak from I've had guns pulled on me on a traffic stop. I've had my car taken apart on the side of a highway and they found nothing. And they said a dog walked around the car and smelled drugs and they began literally taking apart door parts and door panels and seats and all that stuff. And I said, well, y'all gonna put that back together when you're done. So I've been there. And it was in the South. And it's been in other places. So I'm speaking from experience of
Mhm.
being stopped. I'm speaking from experience of guns being pulled by officers. I'm speaking from experience and not getting and I'm speaking from being arrested and not and never been charged with anything just because.
Yes.
Um and I remember vividly one time trying to protect my friend who was white,
Mhm.
who was drunk as heck, and I was literally holding him up on the wall outside of a bar with one hand. And the bar had called the police because they said there was a disturbance in the bar. Well, there was one. It was my white friend was so drunk, he was going around trying to talk to girls, and if they didn't wanna talk to him, he was eating their receipt, literally, picking up their receipt and eating it. I was like, "Yo,
I
we need to get out of here." So by the time we get downstairs to the outside, I'm holding my man up, and they're like, we heard there was disturbance. I was like, well, look, I'm just holding the guy up. We just want to get back to his car. He was driving. So I took the keys from him and said, hey, I'm just trying to
Okay.
get back to the car. We want to go. And they were like, are you obstructing justice? As soon as he said that, I moved my hand off of my friend. He fell to the ground. I turned around, put my hands behind my back and said, nope. And they handcuffed me and
Wow.
walked me down to the station because the station wasn't that far away. So I spent a couple hours in jail, and my drunk friend, who was a little bit sober then, and my other friend came and bailed me out, and then they dropped charges like 2 weeks later because there was no charges. But you gotta know where you are. Now, I could have puffed
Yeah.
out my chest and been like, "Well, this," and I was like, "Nope, I know where I am, so you guys do what you're gonna do, but you're
Mhm.
not getting me on." And this is a
Yeah.
long time ago. So it's a
No,
long
I
this is like
remember you telling me.
years ago. So you just have to know where you are and what you're dealing with. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, she probably wasn't about that life growing up, so nobody had to tell her, how
Yeah.
to act in those situations.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, like you said, she lost her life and, and I'm sure that there's officers that kill people and they were like, "Damn, I wish I didn't have to do that." But and I'm not sticking up for him and I'm not sticking up for her, but she definitely should have never hit him with the car, whether it was an accident or not. You should have just got out the car when he asked you to get out the car and you could have de-escalated the whole situation, like you said. And I just feel like it's a lost life and it's unfortunate. And my heart goes out to her family and her friends and everything like that. But uh, I mean, when I saw her hit him with the car, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't see that part. I was not aware of, well, why the hell did she hit him and think that he wasn't going to protect himself when he had a gun?
And then what was wrong, I think what also was wrong was after the fact, we didn't see all the videos, but then they were trying to act like that she was some type of menace or she has some history with monitoring ICE. And even if she did, who cares? That
Yes,
doesn't
who
mean she
cares?
needed to take a bullet to the head and 3 other bullets
Absolutely not.
to the bottom.
Absolutely.
So that was wrong. And oh, what Trump said afterwards was just like, I mean, he basically said the same thing I did, but in a way that you're like, okay, that's probably not the time to say that to the person's father who's grieving. over
I
the
don't even know
air.
what he said, but I
He
can't
just
imagine.
he just was like, yeah, it wasn't good, right? And then speaking of that, getting back to him, because the interesting thing is this may be the thing that gets him out of office if he's not careful. Because
Okay.
I think there's enough
Well,
Republicans because
it sets a dangerous precedent,
it's the same thing Putin did to Ukraine.
right?
And it's the same thing China wants to do to Taiwan. And I think it's interesting that Canada said, "Oh, Canada gave the US the side eye this past week." They were like, "Okay, China, hey, why don't y'all come over? We want to talk about our trade
Right.
affairs."
So
And now they're letting their electric cars in. Now they got a whole new trade deal. Now then Trump comes back and says, "Hey, if they can get a good deal with China, they should get it." And I'm like, "Okay, but this isn't business. These aren't hotels and properties.
yeah.
You are destabilizing allied relationships that we've had." And you can say about what you want to say about the relationships, how much we paid in and all that stuff for, I don't want to say 100 years, but shoot, for 50, more than 50 years, because of the World War II and was in the 40s. So 80 years ago, almost 100 years of relations. And why we're bothering the neutral countries, I have no idea. I know Denmark woke up and they were like, Yeah, is dude on something? Because what did we do? Like, what did we do?"
Well, the problem is that it weakens the international rules of the US that they claim to defend. It's just like, okay, so let's strategize and take this and do this, but when China or, Russia or anybody else tries to do the same, what does that do for us? It weakens us. And I think it's
It
we
does.
need and that's the problem. And he, again, raising the tariffs to 25% if the other European countries do not basically comply with what he's asking for, that's insane. This man has lost his God forbidding I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but it's not good for our country. And I don't know what's gonna happen. So I don't know. I mean, he seems to keep getting away with shit over and over again. So
It's interesting, right? It's interesting what's happening, and we'll see how it goes, but it can't go well. It cannot go well because there really is no rhyme or reason to it. You could say it's for national security, but they already got our back, just like we got their back. So it can only be because there's something there that we think is valuable or he thinks is valuable down the line. And I always go follow the dot, just like this guy's. And there's all this stuff happening, like this peace force or whatever he's calling it, where he wants countries to put in $1 billion each to be on the Gaza plan, like this committee that they're putting, committee for peace. I forget what it's called. I was just reading about that
mhm.
earlier. And they're like, "All right, well, what do we want to get for our $1 billion?" And then Israel's like, "We don't agree with this, but we're going to," and the US is like, "Well, we're going ahead with it anyway." But I guarantee you, if you follow the dollar, it's all to line somebody's pockets. And Saudi Arabia is kind of like him, Trump, and the Saudis' idea. And I'm like, that might not ever be good when you're sitting right next to Israel. So I would understand what their concern is, but that's probably
Right.
some of the most prime property in the world, resort wise. It could be incredible to be on that
Yeah.
coastline. He knows that. They've already signed deals with his family's companies and his sons. So it's like, how long, how, and you could say, look, many presidents have profited off of being president after the fact.
Yeah.
And probably more than we know is just not publicized because they kept it very, very low key. But I always say this, could you imagine if Obama did this shit?
No.
I mean, so just overtly that, and now it's to the point, see, and this is what happens, and this is his style. You get used to it. You get numb to it. So it's like just like when so he was traveling, I think he was in Detroit or maybe Milwaukee, one or the other cities this past week, and he was at a
Mhm.
auto plant, and one of the workers there heckled him saying he's a protector of pedophiles. He gives him the finger. The president of the United
Who
States gives the worker a finger. Worker gets suspended, of course, for yelling at the president, and that I mean, you heckled him as free speech, but then there's consequences. I
Mhm.
agree with they should have suspended him, but he took his shot, and then he had a now he's got a GoFundMe page that people are paying him for being out of work and all the other stuff, which is interesting. So, but hey, free speech, but there's consequences. So, and like
Yes.
I said, I don't agree with yelling at a dignitary. There's a time and a place where you can state your case, but it's a protest. That's what this country's
Mhm.
built. But to flip the man off as the head
Yeah.
statesman of the country and the leading leader of the world shows again lack of maturity. Uh,
He has no class.
yeah, and it kind of went under. It kind of went under the news. But there's all these things that are happening, and there's just so much coming at you, but you're getting used to it now. So people, oh, at the beginning, it's like, oh, he just tells it like it is. That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not like the politicians. I'm like, yeah, but now you're starting to see it's not just that, it's how much havoc are you putting in the system and why? I mean, are you that, everybody says retribution. Are you that much based on retribution that you just go after everybody? Now he's got the federal judges investigating the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis because of what's going on with the child care funds and all that other stuff. And I'm like, I mean, you're just going at people, and I know what he's doing. He's doing how he got felt, how he felt back where they came
Mhm.
after him. They
Yes.
never, they quote unquote, they never got him, even though they did get him on some charges. They didn't get him on others. And quite frankly, I mean, the real estate thing was a reach, I think, because
Mhm.
who hasn't up their property value a little bit on their appraisal or wishes. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, all an appraisal is, or all evaluation is on something that hasn't been sold yet is an opinion. So
Yes.
it's an expert opinion of who you take. And that's what it is. So if you overestimate it or underestimate, who's to say? And as long as the
Mhm.
other party thinks that's what the value is, again, how are you going to? So I get where he's coming from on that, and I'm sure there was many other things that they went after him for in that court case, but they didn't get him on. So if you think about all the time, all the money, the older you get, that's the shit that you don't want to deal with. But then you have a chance to come back at people because nobody can stop you. You have immunity against anything you do while you're in office.
Mhm.
How many people wouldn't do it?
Yeah. No.
Well, obviously, there's a lot. Maybe what 40, maybe 48 presidents before him. I don't know, but there
Yeah, he just
it is.
pushes the envelope all the time.
It's more than pushing the envelope.
Okay, well, what is it?
I don't. There's not even a phrase for it.
No?
It's some in some ways it's disgusting. Some ways it's unlawful. Some ways it's expected. Some ways it's funny, but not in a ha ha way. In many ways, it's disappointing.
As disappointing as this, do you think it's possible to be loved the exact way you want to be loved or need to be loved?
uh, it depends on your love expectations are reasonable. I think people have unreasonable expectations of love at times. I think that it depends on how you experience love growing up and saw it, and different types of love and different types of relationships. But to answer your question succinctly, yes, I do believe you can.
Well, I was reading a study and it says no one will ever love you the way that you truly want to be loved.
Well, who wrote the study
And,
and why are they the expert?
and you know, I don't have the facts. But I was reading it. But you know what? And then when I was reading this, and it says, I go back to when you say, I know that there's conversations that you and I have had, and it's about, finding the right person at the right time and finding the right person at the wrong time and all those things. But what I truly believe is that there is no perfect person, no perfect real partnership. It's about two fucked up individuals willing to show up for each other, work through all of the issues that go through that you may have, that I might have, and just showing up for one another. And I think that if two people are willing to just fight for one another and show up with, respect and boundaries and feeling safe and respected, I think that relationships can work. And I think that the problem is that most people just go into a relationship having such high expectations of the person that they're with and not understanding that maybe that person can't reach those expectations. That's just like saying to you, I need or I expect something from you. And I know that you can't reach that. I know that you cannot. Just like for myself, I know that there's things that you expect from me that there's that ceiling is so high that I know that I can't reach that. Is that something that
I don't agree with your logic, but
I
I
I
understand what you're
you don't
saying.
agree with it? But the thing is it's about communicating, it's about understanding, it's about, like I said, it's about um understanding, like your growth is different from my growth. I think we continue to grow and learn each other and try to, of course, show up for each other every day. And it's just like one of those things. I feel like I have been really, 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 and this is kind of s- off the topic a little bit, but for me, I've been like a little off lately, just kind of feeling like a little bit, uneasy, just a little bit high strung, as you say to me that Jamie says to me, "Oh, when I met you, you were so calm. You were, like relaxed." And I was just like, "Yeah, you made me calm. You made me relax." And he's like, "You're not like that anymore. You don't make me calm. You don't make me relaxed."
Can't
It's
blame it
just
on me.
like, no, it's just one of those things. But I do notice. So my granddaughter flew in a few days ago, and she's here with us, and that I didn't realize. I was like, wow, like I feel so relaxed. Also, my husband has been giving me I have been giving him so many hugs because I'm a hugger. I need hugs. He's not really a hugger, but it makes me feel so good. And like these are things that I need. These are my expectations, right? I need my family and I need hugs from my husband. And not even saying I need validation from him, but I think that as we get old, as for myself as a woman, as I get older, I'm like, well, maybe I do need validation from him. Maybe I do need these things from him. But again, it's just like one of those feelings that I have to say, you know what, this is me showing up. When I go to hug you and you reciprocate the hug from me, that's the love that I need, right? So I need that hug from you and I feel amazing. Like I am like in such a happy place right now and it's like this is how I need you to show up for me is giving me a hug and my granddaughter being here and it's one of those things. So but getting back to relationships and getting back to showing up for each other, there's so many like things that I think that make me try to teach other girls, like young girls that I speak to, the girls that work for us, about red flags and green flags. There are so many of those when we're starting out a relationship, and if you don't pay close attention to those things, you're only hurting yourself. When somebody shows you red flags, pay attention to them, but also embrace the green flags, like making sure that they show acts of kindness, making sure that they're compassionate, making sure that they want to grow with you. But the red flags, when your partner is ignoring you and nothing is what you're talking about is not important to them. It's only what they talk about is important. There's so many different things. And when you're dating somebody, I don't believe that a lot of people, maybe as we get older, we pay attention to, but younger people don't pay attention to the red flags that are given to them. For instance, a young girl, you're having a baby with somebody that he's not even helping you pay any bills. Why? Why are you good enough to have his baby and he's not even helping you? You're going to work every day, you're showing up, you're taking care of kids. Why are you having another child with this man? Why are you even allowing yourself to be not loved? When you're crying at work and you're saying, this is what I need from him, but he's not giving it to me, then why are you having another child with him? Why are you not paying attention to the red flags? Am I wrong to say to somebody, yeah, sorry, but you're not going to be with him in 10 years? Am I wrong for saying that?
Yes, you are wrong for saying that if unless she asked for your opinion. She asked for your
Yeah.
opinion, then, I mean, you know, you can say whatever you wanna say, but, you're
Ha
not wrong or right, it's your opinion, it's just how you wanna
It
be
is my
perceived.
opinion.
It's
It
just
is
how
my
you wanna be
opinion.
perceived. If you
Well,
don't
what does
mind
that
being
mean?
perceived in a way that's negative, then, yeah, you would say that if
Well,
she's really
what
asking
about
for
if
the
I
truth from
say
you.
what about if I say to somebody, um, "Have you ever thought, like, what are your expectations?" Right? Like, so it's not like, "Oh, well, you're worth more than this. Why are you doing that?" It's about, what do you value most about yourself? And does he see that value in you? And if he does, and you're having 2 children with him, why have you ever thought to yourself that, why are you good enough to have his child, but you're not good enough to marry him, to marry you? Is that wrong? If we're having
Uh,
a conversation
how do you
from
know she wants well, you have to know if I mean, does she wanna be married? Because obviously she made the choice to have and many women do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if
okay,
you're
so,
are you saying, is she complaining about it? Is she complaining
um,
about him not paying the bills? I mean, he's doing something.
yeah,
Is she
yeah,
complaining about it?
she's pregnant, he's not even cleaning off her car for the snow.
Is
It's
she
just like
that's
little things.
alright,
Yeah,
cleaning off the
she's
car for the
complaining.
snow. Is she complaining about him not paying bills?
Yes,
Alright, well, she probably should stop complaining unless she doesn't want people to give their opinion. Because obviously people are gonna look at it like, "Well, why did you lay down with him then? Not once, but twice to have kids." So, that's a question that if she doesn't wanna answer, then she doesn't need to talk about it.
again, talking to young people, and again, I was young before. I know what it's like. You kinda just get like, you want this family, you have this whole vision in your head about everything being a certain way, but then when it's not, you're like, "I'm unhappy," and then I'm put in this situation where I have to now figure it out because I either have 1 or 2 choices. I would either need to stay and work this out and deal with it, or I need to get out and 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 do it by myself.
Well,
And
she's
I
already
look
doing it by according to you, she's already doing it by herself.
well, she is. She's doing it by herself, and
Well,
it's sad,
look,
and it's hard.
obviously she's happy with the situation. I always look at situations like that like, "Look, I ain't got time to worry about somebody else if they're in a situation that you can get out of, right? If you don't like the way the table's set,
Change the
either go
table.
to another table or reset it or change it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So then that's what I would just say. I was like, don't complain about your partner because you deserve the person you picked. Just like
absolutely.
you deserve the person you picked. And if you didn't want him anymore or want her anymore, then pick somebody else. You
Yeah,
have that option. Everybody has an option.
I agree with you, but I think that when you don't understand your value, you settle, and that's I think that for the young
Well,
girls that are looking for
is
that
it that
partner.
really that you're settling, or is you don't understand your value, then whatever you choose is undervalued because you don't understand your value. Now, it could be on the opposite side of that. You could overestimate your value
Okay.
too, right? So it can go both ways, and then you end up not
You
getting
can,
anybody because you're thinking that you're the bee's knees or whatever
and I know
whatever the
plenty of
saying
people
is,
like that
and
too, where
then
they have these high
that messes you up
expectations.
too, right? So
They have I have a lot of single ladies that I know, and they have these high expectations, and I'm like, "Excuse me, but, like, wake up. Wake up."
well, is that not a little high and mighty because you happen to be in a relationship? You happen to be
Um,
that.
again, I understand that, but I was I was married once, then I was divorced, and I was single. Um, again, it's not it's about giving somebody an opportunity to show you their red flags or their green flags. You don't just look at somebody or say, "Oh, he doesn't make enough money," or "She doesn't make enough money," because it goes both ways. Or this person could be amazing to you, But you choose to say, "I'm not settling." Well, it's not about settling. You're not even giving the person the opportunity. So if you don't give
Yeah.
a person the opportunity to even show you what type of person that they can be or partner that they can be to you, how do you already not, he's not on my level.
Well, maybe she's going through something. Who knows? Just like maybe
See?
we go through something. Finally, it's been acknowledged. Y'all
What?
have menopause and we have andropause,
Andropause?
irritable male syndrome. Finally
Okay.
is a actual medical
And
condition.
and and exactly what is that?
It refers to male menopause.
Oh,
It's a useful shorthand for describing what happens to men through gradual testosterone decline and hormonal changes. Everybody's got hormones. Y'all not the only ones who hormones
oh
change
no, I
when they
know.
get
Me and my
older.
sister talk
What
about it
it
all the
means,
time.
well, here we got irritability, obviously by the title,
Mhm.
cognitive changes, low
Who?
energy, reduced libido. These men,
Mhm.
these men. Loss of
Yeah.
muscle mass and strength despite regular exercise, increased body fat. So we get the dad bod, particularly around the midsection, and sleep disturbances, including insomnia and poor quality of rest. I mean, if you close your eyes, you would think that this is menopause.
No.
Andropause. Andropause. The only thing that we
No,
don't get
but
that y'all get is hot flashes. That's it.
well, you know, it's crazy because my sister and I talk about it, and she was like, "Listen, you know what? Men go through this and men go through that. They don't talk about it. They think that everything is, but you guys have symptoms as well
All
as,
right. It's a
like,
state of hypersensitivity, anxiety, frustration, and anger that occurs in males that's associated with biochemical changes, hormonal fluctuations, stress, and loss of male identity. Now, that doesn't explain why more young men are staying at home and not going to work and all the other stuff, which is another thing. They're too
yeah,
young to have andropause. But
yeah.
andropause is real. Finally, now
Fine. You know
maybe
what?
we
Give
can
me
have a
a break.
conversation now about hormonal
Give
changes and
give
treatment.
me a break because
Finally.
they just were giving us grace as women,
You know why?
and
Because I
oh, because
bet
now
you
they have something
this
for
is
men,
not
so
a
now they had to.
coincidence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course
I'm
they
not
had.
gonna
Yeah,
lie. When it's
yeah,
important to us, then all of a sudden it becomes important to everybody. So I'm not even going to pretend.
yeah.
Probably that's the reason why menopause has been higher up on the topic totem pole as of this past year, I think, because I've never heard about it more than I have in the last year or so.
No, no,
Andropause.
it's Andro.
Andropause. That's the new
Andro?
andropause. Okay.
Okay.
Remember it.
Yeah.
It's the short name for IMS. So we get two names: IMS, andropause, irritable
I
bowel
am
syndrome.
I am a mess? Is that what they're trying to say? I am
Ha
a
ha
mess.
ha.
Yeah,
See, if we
I am a
said that
mess.
about y'all, I get trolled.
Yeah,
See, I can't say that
yeah.
about women, but irritable
Mhm.
bowel syndrome. Finally, we're
Yeah.
being seen. Finally,
Oh,
our
you
hormonal
poor
issues are being
guys, you're
seen.
being seen. Oh, finally. Finally.
Finally,
How could
finally.
we leave you guys out of any
Finally.
hormone?
Just because we can make
Yes.
babies until we're 80 doesn't mean we don't have our own hormonal issues.
Okay.
Finally, we
Right.
get seen. It's
Uh-huh.
about daggone time.
Yeah.
Because we've been
No, I'm
talking about
happy for you
menopause for
guys.
years. From ever since there's been women, we've been talking about menopause.
Is that right? But they're just now doing studies to get more in depth to understand the
That's
hormonal
because,
changes that
and
we
like
go
I said,
through.
it's no coincidence because we have IMS,
Yeah.
because IMS,
Let me
andropause.
ask you a question.
Do we have an
I know
andro?
that
Oh, what month should be andropause month for men? Is there a menopause month for women? Is
I
there a
don't know if there
menopause
is.
month for women? Is there
I
a
don't know.
menopause awareness month? I'm gonna look it up.
I'm sure you are.
Is there a
Probably not.
menopause awareness? Because there better be an andropause awareness
Oh, give me a
month.
break.
There better be one. Yes, October. October
October.
is
That's breast cancer month.
MAM. MAM. Menopause Awareness Month is observed in
October is
October.
breast cancer.
A time dedicated to raising awareness. Now it needs to be Andropause Month or Andromenopause Month. Equality.
What did you just say?
Or it needs to
It needs to
be
be what?
andromenopause or mena andropause.
How about
month.
we put the women first?
All right. I was just trying to keep menopause together. I didn't want to
Because
hijack the
without
name.
you women, without us women, there would be no man. So anyway,
You can
um,
say that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna see if there's an andro. Is there an andropause awareness month? Uh, actually, there is. Oh
mhm.
my! I did
Is it
not know that.
February?
Well, see, this is how we put you first. I'm
Mhm.
just letting you know that now. And if the world
Mhm.
didn't know, now they do know. While you have a month, that's 30, 31 days. We only get a day. We get World Andropause Awareness Day, and that day is June 1st. We only get
June
one day.
1st.
See, nobody
Good.
cares about our hormonal issues. We get one day. Y'all
I
get
care.
30,
I care.
30,
I do.
30
I do
times
care.
the amount of time to be aware of these
I do
hormonal
care.
changes.
I do care.
I think I need to get on a crusade and get us 29 more days. Don't give us just June 1st. Give us June, the month of
No.
June.
No.
We get
Let's
one
not.
day we get one day to raise the awareness of our issues. Y'all get a whole month.
Okay. Because we're the women that bear the children. And again, being a mother is the hardest job
However,
ever.
ours is a day for the world. I don't know if menopause month is for the whole world because everybody's not on the same calendar.
Mm, I'm sure.
They said it's
I'm so
world.
sure.
The funny thing is they say it is World Andro Awareness Day. World. But when you go to menopause, it's like, okay, it's Menopause Awareness Month. It says nothing about global acceptance. But there is a World Menopause Day too.
What
World
day is that?
Menopause Day. See, y'all get a day and a month. We just get a day. Again, I'm feeling a little bit unequal here. So World Menopause Day is,
Mhm.
of course, in October. It's October 18th. And
Oh,
it's
do you know
right.
what October 18th is?
I know what October 18th is. Fittingly, probably, I know what October 18th is. So
What is it?
it's our wedding anniversary,
Oh, you
October 18th.
remember.
So not only do you get a whole month, you also get a world renowned awareness day. We just get a day. I think something's
So,
wrong.
do you want a month? Why? Are you gonna
To bring
celebrate it like
awareness
it's your
to our issues,
birthday? Are you gonna
to bring
celebrate it
awareness
like
to our issues so
uh,
people understand the trials and tribulations that men go through with their hormonal changes as they age. I just
don't
want
make me
equal
okay.
access.
Well, once all women get equal access as men, then we can give you equal access to your hormones. So give me a break.
Touche, touche, touche. But
Okay, so let's
don't
go
change the subject.
there.
Don't
I'm not
change,
changing the
don't change,
subject.
don't
I'm not
change the
changing the
subject.
subject.
So sometimes it's actually called androgen deficiency in the adult male or Adam. Get it? Adam, Eve. Sometimes
No,
it's called
I didn't
Adam.
get it. I didn't get it.
Sometimes it's called Adam, but we don't have a month because you know why? Because Men's Health Month is in June. So not only do we only get a day, y'all get a day and your own month. We don't even get a full month. We got to squeeze it into a month that we're already recognizing men's health. This needs to change. We
Yeah.
got to get, where's Trump when I need him to write a declaration, an executive order on,
Right. For
where is
you
he when
would.
I
He
need
would
him?
love that. He
We
would
need
love
it. We
that.
need it.
Yeah, you do. You
Although he
need
may
it
not
like
admit to having low testosterone at his age. I don't know.
well, he might admit it.
No, because he said he had the greatest physical ever in the presidency. So how could he admit to having low testosterone?
I
That wouldn't be true.
can't. He
That would
yeah.
not that would not be true.
I can't.
That
I can't.
that would not be true. So I just think it's interesting. Again, male menopause is not a myth. It is a reality. And I'm glad to see that we could bring it to the light on Cock Riser, the show. Speaking of Cock Riser, so people know.
Mhm.
Cock riser is what it means. It means, cocks get up early in the morning.
Yeah,
They
rising.
rise with the cock a doodle
Rise.
doo. All you
Yes.
people, with your mind's in another place, that's not what it means.
Yeah, I came up with the
Although
name.
although it is very, very, very you can play on it, but it means it's for the cocks that wake up in the morning and
Cocks.
cock a doodle doo and wake you up early in the
And the
morning because
cock risers, the
early to
early
rise.
risers,
Early to
like
rise is
us.
what is it? Early to ride is the bird that gets the worm or whatever that what's it called? What's that saying called?
Um, um, hmm,
But it
I
does
do
have
know
other
it.
connotations that you can play on and probably make some good jokes off of, but that's not what it is, which is why we have a very tasteful logo.
Yes, we do.
And we have a very tasteful
Um,
logo that emanates if that's the right word to use, a cock with its feathers and
oh,
warm, sunny morning sunrise colors. See, that all plays
yes.
into it. See,
Uh,
there was a process here. There was
yeah,
a
it
theme
was your
here.
genius thoughts that
There
went
was
into it.
hey, look, it just sometimes it comes, and then when you put the 2 logos together facing everybody, it forms a heart.
It does. You're
See?
so smart. You're so
See,
smart.
you gotta have
You're
a
so
vision.
creative.
You gotta have a vision,
You
you
are
gotta have
very
theme, you gotta
creative.
think. You gotta
Yes,
think.
you're very creative.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
definitely
I'm
are.
not look, I'm not saying this to get compliments, thank you very much. That wasn't the goal, it was just to
I didn't say
explain it
that you were.
to mind because I know some people might be like, "How did they come up with that? That's kinda raunchy." It is not. And for those
Well,
of you
can we really say where we originally got the name from?
you can if you would like. It's
Well, I
supposed
don't
to
have
be a
to.
clothesline.
Well, it was. It was supposed to be jeans, but not that's not where the name originally came from.
Alright, well, where did the name because
Do you don't remember?
is NSFW or is this alright to tell?
What do you No, it's alright to tell you don't
Okay,
remember
I
where it
just
came
needed to
from,
know
though?
what if I needed to click the explicit button on the podcast or not,
You don't
so
remember where this name came from?
I just said I don't remember.
Wow, we were watching Sex Education, and she said to the guy, "You're such a cock riser." And I said, "That's
Ah,
it." I said, "That's it,
because
Jamie.
it's a
I love
saying.
that
That's
name."
right, it's a saying. It's a
And
saying
yes,
in the
and I was
UK.
like, "I wanna use that
It's a
for a
saying in the
jean
UK.
label." Yes,
It is,
yes.
it is. Now,
"You're
I
such
forgot
a
about
cock
that. That
riser."
is true.
Yes, yes. And I
That is
ran with it
true.
just like you ran with
Oh
what
my
was your
god,
what?
we might be famous. Because 'Cause I'll just
Why?
put in cock riser, UK saying, and the first thing that came up is context. It is identified as a podcast. Cock Riser, the show, hosted by Monique and Jamie Jones, launched in 2025. I told you it only takes 21 shows to make it a podcast, and
That's
we
funny.
put it in Google. That's not what I tried to do, folks. Oh my
That's
God.
funny. Oh my god, that's
We have hit
crazy.
mainstream
We are doing
with
it.
only 22 followers after a year and a half.
It's
That's pretty
okay.
good. This hasn't even been a
It's
year. It's
okay.
been when
But
we
you
we
know
started
what?
this in August, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
The
Yeah.
host describes the show as a funny, ever-changing, intelligent, bold, humble, loving, unapologetic message. Well, that's great. Thank you, Google, for recognizing. Oh my
That's
God, I would have
great.
never thought that would have came up if it got Google.
That's
Very
crazy.
that's very clever, crazy. All right. So that wasn't what I was looking up. I just put into Google cockrider UK saying funny and actually well, no. I'm trying to it's not coming up, but that's where we got it from.
Yeah.
That's definitely where we got it from, and
Sex
we're making
education,
it
I remember before it got crazy, but we were watching that show. I was like,
yeah, and we made it our own, and we're seeing where it's going, but obviously, we're almost at the top because now when I put it in, it comes up
we're
in
on,
Google.
we're on Google. We're good.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that was our seminal moment for our show on episode 2, season 2. We know that we're at least searchable on Google. What the
Yeah.
heck? That might be a good way to end the show,
Yeah.
like that. And as we have been doing lately on shows, we have been giving parting thoughts. And what are your parting thoughts today?
Um, my parting thoughts are show up, for yourself first before you can show up for anybody else. And love yourself before loving anyone else. That's it.
That was her too. So you gave us a bonus parting
I gave
thoughts
you a
today.
bonus. Yes.
That was special. I'll say a positive mind always finds a way to get it done. A negative mind looks for all the ways it can't be done.
Love it.
So
Love
it's your
it.
choice whether you
That
want to be positive
that is
or
so
negative.
true, Jamie. So true.
That's right. So be positive about andropause because it's
I'm
important.
positive about it. I'm here to support you. As
It's
long as you're here to
important.
support me.
I have
Imma
been
show
doing
up for you,
that
babe.
ever since
Imma
I
show
met
up for
you. How
you.
about that?
Imma show up for you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. And on that note, folks, we are out of here. Season 2, episode 2, Cock Rise of the show. I'm Jamie Jones.
I'm Monique Jones.
Later.
Thanks for watching.